That one's drilled to left field. Is it high enough? See ya! A walk-off grand slam, and the Yankees win!
He drives one, deep left field. That goes Upton, back near the wall. It's out of here!
Welcome back to the Boroughs, episode 84. Episode 83, we did Mets offseason breakdown. Today, it's time for Yankees offseason breakdown. As always, Kevin Bunk and Michael Merlo joining us, putting on the GM hat today. Gabe Zoda, always follow him at the PlayBK on Instagram and TikTok. The Playbook, get all your New York sports short-form content and other short-form stuff there with Gabe. So we're going to jump right in here, break it down again for you. If you didn't watch the Mets video or our Yankees video last year, let you understand how this works. We have three different budgets, three different scenarios that we're going to be doing. Right now, the Yankees sit at roughly $278.1 million after the Trent Grisham qualifying offer. So what we're going to do is have a $300 million budget, which is the really low bar. They're definitely going to go over, but we're going to show you what it could look like that way. The $330 million budget, which gives you $51.9 million to spend, probably a more realistic baseline for what the Yankees will do. And then finally, Plan B, the $350 million budget, which is $71.9 million in spending. If you want to just skip to any of these three scenarios, you can check the description down below, whether you're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or YouTube, and we'll have the timestamps for you for each breakdown. So let's get right into Plan A. It's a $300 million budget. Again, we have Trent Grisham signed to the $22 million qualifying offer. He's one of our no-trade guys. So you have Grisham's a no-trade, Judge is a no-trade, Stanton's a no-trade, Wells was a no-trade last year. He's not a no-trade this year, so let me get rid of that. And then out of our starting pitchers, you have Cole, Fried, Rodon as no-trade guys. Bednar, we're also not going to be able to trade or cut. So, Gabe, I'll let you take the floor here. You get $21 million to spend. How would you start to attack this, and would you get rid of anybody on this team?
I don't know if I'm getting rid of anybody right now because, I mean, Kevin, we talked about this a couple weeks ago on our live. Like, there's a very real possibility this exact same lineup. So for me, I'm not focused on the lineup if I only have $22 million. I want to focus on making sure that this bullpen is locked in, right? That's where I want to start. It's something that I think you kind of have to do. And if we're going this route, hate me for this, Yankees fans, I'm bringing back Devin Williams. That's my first move. Because we're sticking with the continuity. Fine, he had a rough patch, but kind of working through it now. And if you can get him for maybe $7.5 million, fine. It takes up like a third of it, but we can make some things happen. I think he can have a really good season next year with some of the stuff we saw.
All right, so we can hit that Devin Williams scenario. We gave him a little bit more money in the Mets breakdown, but let's say that his market actually isn't there. So it's a $8 million contract. Right now, Mike, we have 13.9 left to spend. Where would you go with it?
I think it's going to have to come via trade. I think the next move is going to have to come via trade where, you're not taking on too much money or at least not the brunt of it. And I'm trying to think of what that move can be. I want to save the bigger trades for later in the show where we discuss possibly a Corey Seager or a Ketel Marte possibly. But right now, I think stick to the bullpen. You're going to add another arm. We know Cashman likes to add these guys that nobody's really heard of or guys that have had bad years. They come in and they dominate. So maybe a Kirby Yates here for the next bullpen move to solidify that.
All right, so we'll throw in Kirby Yates. We'll give him the $3 million that we gave him this morning on the Mets breakdown. I'll just throw in a quick move to solidify this. And let's say Cashman decides this is going to be a pitching-heavy team once again. I think they had some interest in Mitch Keller at the deadline. I think maybe they swing that this offseason and actually add him. So that'll just wrap what we're doing here, and this was meant to be the quickest of the budgets. But, Gabe, your role today on all of these is going to be playing skipper for us and building this lineup at the end of each budget. Are we cool with this? I think that we have a little bit of room here if you want to bring back an Ahmed Rosario or get a guy like IKF. Do you want to add a utility guy to this bench, or are we just chilling with this for the breakdown?
Yeah, let's just add Unk for the vibes. I mean, we need to bring back Ahmed Rosario. I mean, that hot corner they had. I mean, and by the way, he also wasn't that bad whenever he got his opportunities. So I think they should bring him back regardless. So I'm down with that.
All right, so this is the squad. You want to build out this lineup for us, Gabe?
Yeah, I mean, let's start off. Let me say something crazy. The Yankees have been looking for a leadoff batter for a very long time. I don't know if you get it all the time, but I think in some platoon lineups, Caballero's my leadoff. But normally, right? Let's just lead off. Man, where do I lead off on this team? I want it to be Jason Dominguez so bad, guys. I want it so let's do Jason Dominguez lead off.
Wow.
Let's do Jason Dominguez lead off. I think next season he can get you about 340, 350 on base if at his peak. So let's do that. Number 2's got to be Judge. Let's just get that over with.
Yep.
Number 3, I'm sticking Ben Rice as my number 3. I'm going with do we do it, folks? Let's go Stanton, good DH at the 4. Let's go Jazz after him, and then Trent. 7 will be Bummy Volpe. I don't want him at the bottom. He sucks, so let him be 7.
All right.
Let's go 8 being 8 being
McMahon, Wells left.
Yeah, let's go McMahon and then Wells.
Can I say something?
Yes.
Yeah.
This team's not winning the division.
This team sucks. And
This
that's the
team is
point,
not-
kind of.
This team is not great. This is not
So
a great team.
The reason that I set this budget, and I expected it to go exactly like this, where you're able to add some pitching, but you really don't do anything otherwise, is this was the Hal Steinbrenner's trying to keep it $300 million or less offseason that a lot of Yankee fans are completely panicked about, and you see right away why. Because even in the lineup, the ugly stuff, like that bottom 3, or Dominguez leadoff, like the way you can change it with Grisham up top or Rosario in, it doesn't actually move the needle for this team at all. So you're sitting in a bad spot if you sit at $300 million, which is why I cannot see the Yankees, after giving Grisham the $22 million, actually sitting at 300 or less. I think that was a bogus report. Joel Sherman worded it in a way that made Yankee fans panic. It was more of a Hal Steinbrenner would love to have a team under 300, but that's not going to happen.
What about the 319? What about the 319 number? Is he staying under the 319 or is he going to go over?
I think they go just over.
Okay.
That's why I set it at 330. I think they probably sit somewhere around like 325.
Yeah, it was never going to happen. I think if you can get it to 325, that's ideal, especially with some of the moves that we're going to talk about here in this next budget. I feel like we'll get to a very reasonable and definitely a team that can win the division at 320, 325. So, I mean, it was never going to happen. I guess we got so many comments on these videos about, Hal Steinbrenner is going to be cute. That was never going to happen. It's not realistic at all.
Let's jump to the Plan B budget now, which obviously the more realistic of the 3 scenarios we have here today. We start with this squad, and I do want to bring up just trades to start this up, because I think you have a couple of pieces here that I'd be very open to moving, and I'm going to just name 3 guys in order of likelihood of getting traded. I think Luis Gil is very likely to get moved this offseason. I don't think the analytics favor him in the eyes of the Yankees. I don't think he was great, and I think with the emergence of Cam Schlittler, the return of Garrett Cole, Gil starts to feel like the odd man out. And then I think Volpe and McMahon are 2 guys that you just have to look at with a little bit of intrigue on the trade market and say, are the Yankees going to look to do anything different at shortstop? Because what we saw last year is they already have a better shortstop on their bench in Jose Caballero. So do they even go that route? Are they going to run Volpe out again? And McMahon's got 2 years left on the deal, but I don't think it's a guarantee that he is on the team in April. If I was a betting man, I'd say yes, he is. I think we would all agree on that. But I don't think a McMahon trade is out of the question. But we'll start again, Gabe, if you want to kick us off here with where you would go first to attack a $330 million budget. And remember, last time through, we did not re-sign Bellinger with the $300 million budget.
Yeah, we didn't. But my first move, I think we're going to get to Bellinger, but I think where I want to go first is signing Tatsuya Imai. That needs to be the finisher of my starting rotation. He's a guy that in a couple of years could be the number 2 in this rotation. So if you get me Tatsuya Imai, I think the market has him around 18, 19 million. That's where you grab him at. And he's a guy that wants to beat the Dodgers. He's a guy that has said multiple times that he could be a fit. And I think the Yankees have to attack it. Some reports are saying that they're going to make an earnest effort to go grab him. So that's my first move.
All right, so the first Imai signing of our 2 breakdowns. Mike, where do you go next if you're the Yankees?
You got to improve this offense. I look at this rotation, especially with the top 4 before you add Imai there. And, I just don't see this massive need to go get pitching. I understand pitching wins in the postseason. We saw how great the Dodgers starting pitching was last season, and it got them a World Series championship. I just don't see that. I think there are many more holes in this lineup than there are to that starting rotation. Although, again, creating basically a super rotation here with Imai.
I think that the interesting pitching aspect of this, because I agree with you completely, is Cole's out for the beginning of the year, Rodon's out for the beginning of the year, and Cashman spends more money on starting pitching than anybody in the league. So I think that there is a high chance that he does move. And I think that you have 3 guys in Heel, Schmidt, and Warren who are very likely 1 or 2 of them get traded.
Yeah, and guys, last year, the Yankees had Marcus Stroman and Cookie Carrasco pitching games for them at the start. You don't think Cashman's sitting there at least a little bit and saying, we would have won the division if we had at least one better starter in the starting rotation outside of Marcus Stroman and Cookie Carrasco. We would have won the division. So make sure you have a guy like Imai that can at least be the 2 to Fried or whatever it ends up being to begin the season. So you at least have some more stability so the team doesn't plummet to start off. And then you have to dig a hole once you get Cole and Rodon back.
All right, Mike, what do you got next move here?
How tradable is McMahon?
I don't think
$16 million the next 2 years here. I don't see how you're moving McMahon. So I would love to go get Okamoto, but I don't know where you're playing him.
Well, Okamoto would be the platoon third base, first base against lefties.
So you would feel comfortable even though you have McMahon. Okamoto's going to play 140 games this year as long as he's healthy.
How many does Stanton miss? How many does Rice DH? Okamoto gets all the first base games.
All right, then let's bring in Okamoto. I forget what we gave him with the Mets. We're going to bring in Okamoto.
We gave him 4 for 50.
They're going to try and be the national Japanese team going up against the Dodgers here, and they're going to try and take them down.
And then I think I'm just going to throw in a little cosmetic one before you go, Gabe. And real quick, that's a green. First base is a green. I'm going to make third base a green too, because now you have a guy that can play
both
third base also with Okamoto. I'm going to throw in Jonah Heim here at backup catcher. I think the Yankees desperately needed a non-lefty backup catcher last year, and Heim is a guy that won't give you a big bat, but could even compete with Wells for a spot as the Yankees starting catcher at certain times in the season. So I'm going to bring in Heim, and I'll just throw in those quick contract valuations. But Gabe, elephant in the room is Bellinger here.
Yeah, and I was going to sign him right here. This is where we can't let this bill stop for much longer. So, I mean, what do we have him at? Would it be 26? Would it be 28? Where are you guys feeling that number is?
I think, what did we give him this morning, Mike?
7 years, 200, which was around 28 million.
I think it would be a little less, but
I feel like if you go 7 years, we lean towards 26. If we go 6 years, then we lean towards 28 because we know the Yankees love to do the thing where you add that extra year that you end up being garbage in just to lower the AEV.
Okay, so we'll do that with Bellinger, and that's going to wrap up this one. And this is a good offseason, I think. But
this is a really good offseason. You didn't add to the bullpen, but this is a really good offseason.
And then you have an interesting scenario here where you probably bump Heel to the pen.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, Warren's also there. I don't know if he's ready.
And then Warren would be there
Warren's
too.
Also there. And you could always trade. I saw Ryan and Garcia, our friends at Fireside. They said maybe make a trade for Victor Vodnik from the Rockies, or you could always trade one of these guys in your prospect list to add to the bullpen. I mean, we saw the Yankees do it at the deadline a million times last season. So, I mean, that's always a possibility. Don't even write Jake Bird.
I'm writing Jake Bird, bro.
Hell yeah. Let's go. So
this is the squad, and you bring back Bellinger. Does Dominguez get moved in this scenario, or are you just kind of?
He's just right next to Oswaldo Cabrera.
I think that. So you look through this scenario quick.
I like this team, man. I feel like this is, and I'll let you continue. I feel like this is not the most realistic thing in the world, but I think if they do this, I'm very happy with this team because, and it is realistic because I don't see them moving off of Volpe. I feel like the Cashman's going to do his thing where he's just going to say, no, we trust that he's going to be back now that his shoulder's working, right? So I think that he's going to stay. And then Jason Dominguez, he's 22 years old. Like, I think you keep him just to see that kind of potential ride itself out. He's going to get some reps throughout the year, but you have to. I think they're going to have to keep that trust in him.
I would agree with you that Volpe stays, but I can't see how we're going to go into this offseason and go into the next year with questions about Dominguez and then Spencer Jones again. I feel
that's
like
what I was going to say.
I feel like one of them's gone.
This situation makes it very likely that either the Imai spot or one of those bullpen spots is where you trade Jones or Dominguez to fill. Because the bullpen, we didn't add anything here, but we did literally add 2 pitchers to it with Heel and Warren that could be starters. But that's because of Imai. So I think if you realistically look at it, maybe that's one of the guys that go for Keller in the prior scenario, or that's one of the guys that go for if you're going to get Joe Ryan, if you're going to get Peralta, who we sent to the Mets this morning, then this is a more realistic scenario where you get Bellinger and you say we still have to get rid of one of these guys.
I know who I want to trade Jones and Dominguez for.
We'll do it in the $350 million.
Yeah, I know I want to trade.
All right, Gabe, lineup time.
Lineup time. Let's go. Who am I leading off? I mean, isn't this basically the same damn thing?
Same lineup, pretty much. Yep.
Except with our GOAT. This time, I don't know who I want to lead off. Let's just go 2, Judge, and we'll figure this out as we go.
I'm throwing Grisham lead off because he let off the most last year, so I feel like Boone's going to do that again.
Sure. I've. By the way, before we continue this, I have no faith that Grisham. I know they say, well, you look at the metrics, and he actually shut up. I think that Grisham
He did overperform. Like, it wasn't an outlier year.
No, it wasn't.
Everything told you that was a real season.
Yes, and I'm not saying that last year wasn't a real season. I'm saying that this next year, I don't know if that's this next year is going to be similar. So
that's fine.
But I'll be happy to be wrong about that. Number 4 will be, where'd you put Bellinger? 3?
3 because it's Stanton 4.
Yes. I mean, Jazz got to be 5, right?
Yeah.
Look at this lineup. This is a legit lineup.
And then you got Rice, right? I mean,
I go Okamoto, and then I go
Okamoto,
Jazz,
right?
And then I go Rice.
We're starting Okamoto at 3rd in this scenario.
Yes. And then obviously this changes, right? Per pitching or whatever. And then you got Volpe Wells or Wells Volpe. I do just for fun. Unless you really feel the need to lefty righty it.
Boone's lefty rightying it. Boone's lefty rightying it.
Yeah, but he also loves the double lead off with Volpe, man.
Yeah, but now Wells is his leadoff guy because he hit a home run last year in the first game.
Right.
So this would be, and then you have the flexibility of Wells, Heim. You have the flexibility of Rice, McMahon, Okamoto. I like this team a lot.
I like that team.
And then the starting pitching's great.
This is my World Series roster right here.
Starting pitching's insane.
Yeah, but that's what you need, man. I feel like the Yankees need to be it.
No, I agree. I love it. And then this infield defense is scary. Rice, Chisholm, Volpe, Okamoto, who's never actually done it in the major league, so we'll see if he can actually pick it. But
that's not good. That's not what you want.
That's bad infield defense. But we can live with it to start the year. And you have McMahon there as the insurance policy on bad.
And by the way, I know we talked about McMahon a couple times. That fact that you guys just brought up, him being great third baseman. The Yankee, how long has it been since the Yankees have had a full real third baseman?
Yeah.
I think they value that at the top. I think they're going to say, well, we finally found our solution. Why would we move off of it? Right? I feel like that's a real thinking point up there.
So we went $8 million over on this, but that's fine.
What would we do if we needed to shed it, though?
I think the shed it move is probably getting rid of McMahon somehow.
I would agree with that.
Okay. Yeah.
But I also think, like, if I was Cashman, I'll put on my Brian Cashman hat.
Okay.
I'd be trading Stanton to whoever would take him. I would call every team in the league, and I'd ask him who's on a no-trade list, and I'd try to find someone to take him. Because he just doesn't play enough games.
I've said this for 3 years.
Yeah.
If they call the Mets, I think the Mets should answer the phone.
Yeah, I think that there's teams that would say we could really use the DH. We'll take the upside on his playoff ability and on the home run ability, and we'll take the whole salary.
And look how much that frees up, not even like monetarily wise, but just in terms of lineup fluidity. It opens up literally everything. And it's been the biggest struggle over the past couple seasons with Stanton is because you want to give days where Judge can just DH or Rice can DH now that he's here,
right.
and then you could fill somebody else in. And
now you're so much better defensively. I mean, Okamoto would still be a little question mark at first, but at least you have McMahon in there if you're not moving him at third every day. Defensively, he's hitting 8th or 9th for you, but at least he's playing a great third base.
And the way I look at it with Stanton, a lot of people will send me the rebuttal and say, oh, well, who's going to take Stanton's money? He doesn't play enough. He doesn't play defense. He can't run the bases. Stanton, the next 2 years, is owed $44 million or $34 million, excuse me, for 2 seasons. If he became a free agent today, he'd absolutely get a 2 for 34.
Yeah.
So somebody out there would be willing to take him, but I don't think the Yankees are willing to move him anyways.
I don't think they can. I don't think they can afford. Right now, unless they go and make a big move, I don't think they can.
I think they can because they have Rice.
I think you need to let the offseason. I think you need to make the Okamoto move. I think you need to make sure Bellinger's back, and then you say, okay, we have enough offense. Now we can do this.
All right, let's move on to the fun $350 million option here, where you could really go anywhere you want. We just built that great team, and you get an extra $20 million to spend here. Gabe, start us up.
Like, we got $20 million. What do I spend the extra $20 million on?
Do you just get Bellinger out of the way right away?
Yes. I mean, at that point, you're thinking, do I pay the extra money for Kyle Tucker? Because we have them. Yeah. We have the money. But then we're looking at positional value and all that other junk.
I'm personally not.
I'm not doing it either. I've always been Bellinger guy, so we're adding Bellinger. Just get it over with. Let's do that.
All right, Mike.
Get in the car, Spencer. Get in the car, Jason. You're going to Texas. Corey Seager. Corey Seager's the New York Yankees playing third base.
He's playing third base. Is McMahon getting moved?
You know what? No, he's not.
I think Seager would play short in a Seager trade. Yeah, because I think Volpe's going.
Yes.
And I think that once McMahon's contract's up in 2 years, then George Lombard's the shortstop, Seager's the third baseman.
So right now, Seager's your third baseman. Your shortstop, because in every scenario I would have for trading for the Mets, he's the third baseman. And I believe he actually projects to be a really good third baseman at some point. I think he'll slide over there and be perfectly fine. But for right now, we'll put Seager.
Yeah.
And his, $32.5 million a year. He is going to be your shortstop. Sorry to spend a big chunk of that money.
Right.
But see, this is the move. You want to beat the Dodgers. I don't even care about the American League. American League's not even an issue, not even a thought. You bring in Seager with this team. But Dodgers, go get Seager.
I think the Seager trade, we're sending Jones here because you said it. I don't even know if you'd have to. After I saw the Simeon trade and how easy that was, I know Nimmo's a productive player.
Well, the Rangers also really wanted Nimmo. Like, they really
and the Rangers really want to get rid of these contracts. So I think you
got to take on the whole contract.
I think you can give up Heel. I think you can give up Volpe. I think you could give up a guy like Ben Hess, who's their third pitching prospect. Or their third overall prospect, second best pitching prospect. You don't really need him with the way you're spending on starting pitching. But we're sending Wells out. We're sending those guys out. And Volpe's gone. Or not Wells, but we're sending Jones. Volpe's gone. Corey Seager in. So I'm going to do Volpe, Jones, Heel to Texas. All right.
I'm still getting Imai.
You're still getting Imai.
Yes.
Who would be another starting pitcher free agency wise? Do you think Michael King's realistic? Because I actually don't.
No, I don't. Like, I really want him though. Like, I really want him to come back. I feel like that reuniting story would be great. I just don't see it possible.
All right, so Imai's back twice. Now we have about $21 million left to spend. Sitting up at 337. We actually have $13 million left to spend. I did that math wrong. So we've gotten Seager, Bellinger, Imai, big contracts all around. I'm still bringing in another catcher. Do I want to run it back with Heim? Probably, just because it's the easiest one to do.
I think you also need
Victor. Our goat.
Well, we got to go bullpen here.
You got to
too.
go bullpen.
Yeah,
you got to go bullpen.
At $19 million left to spend on the pen.
13
million left to spend on the pen.
Why don't we bring Devin back?
No, we already did that once.
Okay.
The pass on it.
He's a Met probably too anyway.
It's probably a Met. What's Fairbanks' value on the?
Let's look. I would like Fairbanks. That would be a good ad.
Probably, yeah, that'd be a great ad. Probably around 12 million a year, something like that.
13 is what Spo's got it at.
All right, so we'll go 3 for 39, 13 a year.
And then we got a couple of change left.
Yeah, like 1 million left. So it's bench stuff.
We can give that to Kevin Bunk.
Yeah, right. That's where we are right now.
Might as well. I mean,
And then after arbitration, you probably actually have nothing left.
Yeah. I mean,
Right.
yeah, at that point, you're relying on I mean, once again, we have Will Warren that's there. I mean,
Yeah, you're putting Warren in the pen. Heel's gone. It's a pretty good team.
and hot
it's a
take,
really good team.
hot take. I think Brent Hedrick actually has a decent season for the Yankees this next year.
I could agree with that. I thought he should have pitched more last year. All right, lineup time.
Amount of time. Trent Grisham.
It's a fun lineup. This is a fun lineup.
It's a fun lineup.
Where are we slotting Seager? I mean, obviously Judge, whatever, but like, where are we slotting Seager here?
Seager might be my
Is that my 5?
Yeah.
Who's hitting third?
Bellinger.
Bellinger.
I'd rather Bellinger hit third, I think. I've hit fifth, I think.
I think I'd put Bellinger behind Judge again.
Okay.
That duo seemed to work pretty damn good last year. So what you're saying? You would have Seager in this spot, Merlo?
I would hit
Or what were
Seager
you saying?
third. I would go Seager 3.
See how it looks. Stanton.
Seager, Stanton,
Stanton, Bellinger,
Jazz,
Jazz.
Ben, Wells, McMahon, or McMahon, Wells.
Yep.
I mean, look at this lineup, folks.
Ben. So now we're going to run into the problem of lefty heavy, though, that I'm very worried about.
Yeah.
As you should be.
Man, Wells, you can kind of interchange them. It would probably be the other way around, but
Wow, that is lefty heavy, man. That
Yeah,
is lefty
you have
heavy.
2 righties in this lineup.
Wow. Finally, they go all lefty.
You'd have 2. I hate that personally, but it's a sick lineup. Like on paper, it's great. But you get to the postseason, Scooble's on the mound. You get to the postseason, any lefty in the world's on the mound. The only guy I believe with reverse splits here is Bellinger.
I mean, at that point, if I'm facing a lefty, all right. So I mean, you're putting Cabby in for. You putting Cabby in there somewhere,
Gabby in for McMahon.
Yep.
right? So that's just against lefty.
And then you figure you have a backup catcher. I'll just throw Hyman again.
Yep.
But he still stinks at hitting anyways. So Wells is probably playing. It's interesting how many lefties that they have, and a lot of their.
So
top
if we
targets are
tried
lefties.
to, I know we just OD'd with money and all that, but like, how would you now turn this? You know, what would you change to make this add maybe another righty?
It's tough. It's really tough because
that's where the flexibility of an Okamoto really helps.
Yeah.
Right, because then you got another righty there.
And I agree with your point on why you don't really want to dump McMahon because he gives you stability. How much better was the Yankees infield after the deadline? How he settled it down so much.
It's like what Andrew Thomas does to the Giants offensive line.
It's actually a pretty good comp. Like it really it shouldn't make as much of a difference as it does, but it really does. And his impact was unbelievable on everybody else in the infield. Caballero's not going to give you that at third as much as I love him. Third base, he's not giving you this lockdown defender.
No.
But this is what they can do. I mean,
yeah, it's a possibility.
It is.
You don't hate it. You don't hate it either.
No, you don't. I think that's a wrap on Yanks offseason breakdown. Let's just talk one more thing quick through this. Tatis trade. Is it possible? Is it a real scenario, or is it just another Tatis offseason smoke?
It's possible. It's not a real scenario.
I think it's possible he gets traded. I don't think it's going to be to the Yankees, though. I don't think it's going to be to the Mets either. But I think there's a chance he gets traded. But I would say no. I would say he probably stays put, that they'll figure this thing out from an ownership perspective to at least keep their star franchise player there for the rest of his career.
Because I do think if he was to get moved, the Yankees are a tremendous fit for him because they need a right-handed bat. They need a shortstop. They also need a corner outfielder. You're saying bye to Bellinger if you get him.
Yep.
And that's fine. Younger kind of replaces what Soto was supposed to be for. He's not as good, but he replaces you get a younger guy in here with Judge to kind of carry the torch a little bit. So I do think if Tatis was available, I don't think they'd even be that interested, but I think that they should be.
Yeah.
Obviously. All right. It's a wrap. Good app. Yankees financial breakdown. You can find the Google Sheets in the description. We'll put everything there so you can check them out, take a longer look. Probably that $330 million scenario is more realistic, and honestly, it might be a better team.
Could be.
The bullpen is not good because you didn't add anything to it. But you go for the starting pitching. You could try to get some trades with the bullpen. And I think the Okamoto thing really balances out what the Yankees are trying to do offensively. So it's a good squad. Good squad. First team sucks. If Hal spends $300 million, that's what you get. You don't get into the playoffs. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the holidays. And we will see you in episode 85 of The Boroughs.